Good to be back with you.
On tomorrow's show from the series The Art of More, Dennis Quaid will be here.
And from the series This Is Us, Sterling K. Brown is on the show.
Exciting.
Good.
And we continue Live's Homestyle Thanksgiving Week when Ryan's mom shares her favorite recipe.
Connie Z. Seacrest is arriving here in New York City.
I'm so excited.
She's more excited.
I gotta pick out a good outfit because I'm nervous. Like, I'm nervous to meet your mom.
Well, don't be nervous. I mean, you saw she's not that intimidating, and she's bringing oysters. So
Oysters?
yeah, she's gonna make an oyster casserole. It may sound disgusting, but give her a chance. Yeah.
I mean, that sounds amazing.
It's a Thanksgiving secret. We'll tell you
I'm excited about it. Okay, now he's a comedian and the host of The Daily Show. Please welcome the very talented Trevor Noah.
Great to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Good to see you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Welcome back.
Thank you so much.
It's been a year that you've been hosting The Daily Show.
And yet it feels so much longer.
I know. Yes, I know.
I feel like we've gone through so much together.
Yeah, are you still enjoying the job?
I am. I enjoy every single day. You know, it's a challenge. It's exciting. It keeps stretching me, but it's fun.
It was a great year to start hosting because this was one of the great cockamamie elections in history.
It really was.
Yeah.
It really was. I feel like Donald Trump and myself both came in as outsiders, and no one gave us a chance, and we're both still here.
Yeah,
are you post-election detoxing after all this?
No. Now I'm into it.
Yeah?
This is like, I feel like it's just started now. I feel like the year was us building up to this moment, and now we're getting into it. This is the transition, and we're all in it together.
Wow. Now, do you get nervous? I mean, when you make jokes, or if you do an impression of the president,
you're gonna upset somebody.
Are you afraid to alienate your audience?
No. I think that's one thing, is making jokes. Like, a good joke is something that penetrates anybody's defenses, you know? I made jokes about Obama. We make jokes about Hillary Clinton, about Donald Trump, world leaders. I've met, world leaders at the UN, and then some of them, they'll just come up to me and they'll be like, yo, the way you talk about me,
Don't they deep down inside kind of appreciate it?
Everybody does, you know, because it's not like you're inventing something new. It's the person and how they speak. You might exaggerate it, but that's who they are.
You know, we know you from The Daily Show, but we were talking earlier about your incredible story growing up in South Africa during apartheid. I mean, I had no idea. And just the title of the book alone, and I remember the last time you were here, you said you were born a crime.
Yes.
And that was a crime, to be a mixed-race child, to be born from a mother that was not with the same race.
Swiss dad, black mother, yeah.
It's crazy that was a time that anyone had to live through, and that was South Africa's story.
And I look at you, and you're so young.
So that's what people don't realize. I'm not talking about a story from
It's
100 years ago. We've only had democracy for a good 20 years, 20-odd years. And to be in a place where black and white people were separated by law, my parents, what they were doing was illegal. I was born a crime. It's an insane story to tell. And sometimes I forget how crazy it was because we've progressed so quickly.
I think it's incredible, you know, to see the story, to hear the story, to read some of the book, and then also you've got this amazing sense of humor. Where does that come from?
I think that comes from the pain.
Yeah.
You know, that's the fantastic thing about humor, is no matter how poor you are, no matter how much pain you are in, humor, I feel, is the anesthetic of the mind.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't mean that the pain is gone, but it helps you cope with what's happening.
And boy, you were poor. I mean, a poverty level. No, but I mean a poverty level that a lot of people can't understand.
But you know what the thing is? I don't tell these stories in a woe is me kind of way.
No, I mean,
you must understand, we were poor, and that was probably one of the greatest solaces that I had, and that was, it was a community, it was people, and what we didn't have in money, we made up for in community. As a child, I never felt like I was suffering, because my neighbors were in the same place that I was, and that community is something that I think helped us to grow together.
He grew up wishing for an indoor toilet. I mean, that makes us look like really big crybabies. We complain here in our country with some of the things that we complain about.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that you know, and you say that to me, but I've gone to places like Brazil, and I went to the favelas, and I thought, wow, you guys have it tough. And I think that's the thing in life, is it's never about minimizing somebody else's suffering or experiences, because you can only know your suffering in your own world.
Right.
You know, but it's acknowledging that even though things may be tough for you, there is somebody who has it worse. And it's tough sometimes because you go, I'm having a really bad time.
Yeah.
But to acknowledge that somebody could be having it worse than you may give you just a little bit that you need to keep going.
That empathy,
Yeah.
that is so important right now, especially in this time, this day and age. Empathy, because I think there's so much technology. People have really alienated themselves in a way, and they're lacking a little empathy.
It's also I think made us not acknowledge that there are faces on the other end of what we are saying and what we're doing. You know, that's why I still love doing stand-up, is going out and talking to people, seeing a face. Online has made us monsters in a way.
Yeah.
You know, you can say it's at Ryan Seacrest, let me tell you this, but if I see your face,
disrespecting somebody, and that casual disrespect,
you forget that there is a human on the other side of what you are saying.
I don't want to take a commercial break. I want to do a 17-hour special with you, but we have to take a commercial break and find out why your mom threw you from a moving car when we return. More with Trevor Noah. We're back with Trevor Noah, who's written an incredible book, Born a Crime. Of course, it's really a love letter to your mother, as we were talking during the commercial
That's truly
break.
what it is. When I set out to write the book, I thought that I was the hero of my story, as most of us do. You know, I was like, I'm going to tell my stories, and I'm a hero. And then when I was done the book and I coalesced all the stories, I realized that my mother was honestly one of the most amazing people that I don't think I fully appreciated
when you were younger.
When I was younger. Yeah, she's a phenomenal woman, as most single mothers are, you know, because you're in a world where you're not just trying to get by as a woman and as a mother, but you're trying to raise a man at the same time.
And such a phenomenal mother that she threw you from a car?
She did. She threw me from a car to save me, though.
Okay, good. Then she is a good mom.
And I don't want to spoil the story, but yeah, my mom and I lived one of the most harrowing lives together, you know. In South Africa, unfortunately, there was a time when violence was one of the, you know, predominant features in the country. And we went through a few harrowing experiences, but we went through them together. And
because they would see a mixed-race child, right?
Yes.
They would see a mixed-race child, and immediately your mother became a criminal.
Well, we would get into trouble in many instances because of that. But we persevered, and that's what I tell people. I go, it's not a story of pain or suffering. I think every story has some pain, some suffering, some laughter, but really it's a celebration of overcoming all your obstacles.
I don't think people, in watching your show, you would never know this about you. You know, we had never met, and I watch you, you're funny, but this is incredible texture to now know from where you came.
But that's the thing, we don't have time to know each other in this day and age.
Yeah.
I only know Ryan Seacrest as the perfect guy who has like 15 jobs. I don't know.
I will ruin the image quickly.
I know Kenny Ripper
exactly who he is.
Yes, but I know Kenny Ripper is the most beautiful person who's up in the morning making everybody smile. I don't know anything else, and that's what books are. It's a great
I'm glad that you've written this book, and I've got to tell you, I was saying it to you during commercial break. It is so riveting, but so entertaining. I'm entertained as I'm reading about things that probably should not make me laugh, but I'm laughing anyway because you're such a gifted writer.
But thank you, and that's where we connect. Think about it. On different sides of the world, Kelly and Trevor Noah going, you've been a person who grew up poor. I grew up poor. Now, our poverty may have seemed different, but we both know what it's like to not have running water.
To not have things that you need in your life, basic things.
I connected over Tom and Jerry. I know that you described your relationship with your mother as Tom and Jerry, one of my favorite cartoons of all time.
My mom, I was a terror as a child. Do not mistake it. My mom chased me most of my life.
Right.
I think it's the only reason I was in shape as a kid is because I was constantly being chased by my mother.
Yes.
A house burned down because of me. I did not burn the house down, but a house burned down because of me.
Because of you.
Yes. I wrote about it in the book, but I won't tell you what.
Oh, my God.
I maintain it was not because of me.
But your mom always found a bright side in everything, did she
really did. She really did. And, you know, we went through a tough time in my family. You know, my mother married a man who was extremely abusive, and, you know, he was my stepfather, and he was an alcoholic, and he was abusive, and we went through a tough time. And the reason I share these stories is because I go, you know, my mom said a powerful thing to me, and that was, as a victim of abuse in the world, we have become ashamed of that, as if we are the perpetrators, but we're not. Whether it's women, whether it's children, we are the ones who are ashamed to share these stories, and we should be talking about them to shame the perpetrators as opposed to being ashamed of being the victims.
It's so interesting. Wow.
Amazing.
I tell you.
I think it's great that you now have so much appreciation for what your mom gave you.
Oh, Dev, I'll tell everybody out there, write a book about your mother, write a book about your father, write a book about your parents, and you will get to know a person that you never knew.
Oh, my gosh.
Born in Crime. Stories from the South African childhood is available now.
I really want to stay. I want to tell more stories about your South African childhood instead of me cooking a cake. Anyway, make sure you pick it up. It is Born a Crime. Trevor, it's always a pleasure to have you here.
And next, Kelly does cook for us. We'll be right back.